Let's talk a little bit about you and what you're going through at the moment. You are currently fighting extradition to Sweden. What are your fears should you be extradited there?
The problem is in two parts. The United States is trying to get up an extradition case for me to the United States. Today we see a new subpoena coming out of the secret grand jury that is operating in Alexandria, Virginia. It is trying to get up this espionage case against us. It is building that case, and in whatever country I am in, once it decides to indict, they will try to extradite me from that country. And possibly not just me, possibly our other staff. The other problem with the Swedish extradition is that the process itself has been corrupted. So it was corrupted from the very beginning. Within 12 hours of these original charges being filed, they were reviewed by a senior prosecutor in Sweden and dropped as not the allegations dropped as not representing any kind of crime. And a Swedish politician by the name of Claes Borgström then picked them up and went to a different prosecutor all the way out from Stockholm and Gothenburg and pushed it back up again. And we've seen corruption in the Swedish media, we've seen all sorts of strange actions in relation to how this case has progressed. And we should understand that even the allegations themselves do not include any one of these women saying no or saying that they had been raped. The Swedish politician Claes Borgström, in response to a question by the media saying, well, not even the women allege this, said famously, well, what would they know? They're not lawyers.
So if the US is trying to extradite you anyway, then surely it really doesn't matter which country you're in. They're going to go after you anyway.
Well, it does matter. I mean, it's a problem regardless of what country I'm in. But there are differences between Sweden and the United Kingdom. Now, the United Kingdom is not the best country, unfortunately, to be in. But it does have an open court process. And it has a relatively detailed court process. The problem in Sweden, although technically the law in relation to extradition would serve us better in relation to the United States, the process itself is not open, not transparent, and is very, very hard for us to deal with. In addition, a media climate has been set up in Sweden that is quite hostile. And that's an ongoing problem. We've had, for example, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Justice, make attacks on me personally. Juries in Sweden, well, they don't exist. What exists is political appointees, lay jurors appointed by the political parties. And both political parties are involved in this Swedish case. The Social Democrats, which is the sort of centre-left party, has an involvement, and the right-wing party, which is now in government, has an involvement in relation to pressure from the United States. So all members of the jury, the pseudo-jury that would be covering this case, would be drawn from one of these two political parties. So it's not a situation that is neutral. It's not a country where I understand the language. The Swedish prosecution continues to break EU law by refusing to provide any documentation whatsoever in English to me. So it is a strange and hostile environment in which I cannot effectively defend myself.
What message do you think it would send to the world if the UK did turn around, almost unexpectedly at this point it seems, and refuse to extradite you?
Well, it depends on to which country. So here's the sort of calculations going on in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom wants to keep, at the various levels, wants to keep its good relationship with the United States. So if the UK was to reject the US extradition order, that would pose terrible problems for it. Similarly, if it was to reject the Swedish extradition order, that would pose problems for it, because it would look like it was seeking to harbour me. And this is the sort of difficult situation that Afghanistan faced, where it appeared that it was harbouring bin Laden, and as a result there was an aggressive response. So any country which appears to be harbouring us, as the United States is trying to conduct its aggressive response, faces political pressures. So if the United Kingdom decided not to extradite, and there are actually some good reasons to do that, it would send a clear signal in relation to Sweden that the European arrest warrant should not be abused. Recall that I have not even been charged. Even in Sweden I have not even been charged. So it really is a tremendous abuse of the European arrest warrant system. But the European arrest warrant system is easy to abuse. And Fair Trials International, a number of other groups, are pushing to reform that. In fact, there's a reform committee scheduled for July in the United Kingdom to try and look at reforming the arrest warrant system. If the United Kingdom does attempt to extradite me to the United States, then it faces a difficult position politically, which is the bulk of the people in the United Kingdom support us. The Liberal Democrats, which are part of the coalition of the UK government, support us. And the Conservative Party, the Tories, which form the majority of the UK government, it is not yet clear what their line is. They are a fresh government, they are a new government, so they may not have merged too much yet with the bureaucracy. But if the Liberal Democrats go this way, and the Conservative Party goes this way, and the population goes with the Liberal Democrats, then there'll be a very uneasy tension for the government. So really its only effective strategy is to get me out to Sweden as fast as possible. And we've seen that in some of the scheduling of the court dates and the appointment by the British government of the most senior extradition lawyer in the whole country, the lawyer who was involved in the Pinochet extradition, to assist in my extradition.